Podcast.
We're back, everybody.
We're back after all this time. 2 weeks.
2 weeks away.
Getting our notes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Wine Situation. I just want to take a quick moment before we start the show today to dedicate this to someone I recently lost. My stepbrother passed away. And I wanted to dedicate this episode to him, Jeff Pierce. He taught me how to be strong. He had a great sense of humor, and he will be dearly missed. We love you very much. Now let's get into the show.
This is a Boardwalk Audio podcast.
I just drink wine.
Welcome to the Wine Situation.
Hey,
everyone, welcome. We missed you.
We missed you.
We missed you so much.
But we've got so much exciting things to share with you now.
So many exciting things happened in 2 weeks' time, right?
I know. We joined Boardwalk Audio.
Boardwalk Audio, what's that?
It's a podcast network.
What? That's so exciting.
Oh my God. We got a sponsor, Gregory Conda's Wines.
Gregory Conda's Wines.
Go to gcondas.com.
Wow. We got networks, we got sponsors.
We got all the things. Did we say who that velvety voice over there? That there velvety voice over there is Sean Buchholz.
Ooh, and that lovely rose-petaled
Oh my!
gem is Ellen Clifford.
Yeah, we're here to guide you through people's wines with wines.
We're here to hold your hands while you wine and then passively pour wine into a glass and let you drink it.
Mm-hmm. Sean can do that because he's the wine whisperer. He just looks into your soul.
And I perform my wine Reiki.
Mm-hmm.
And your spirit tells me.
Your spirit gives him the answers.
Yeah.
But you have the answers within you,
Yeah.
but he knows them before you do.
I'm like,
Is how that works.
hold this crystal. Think about your childhood. Here's a Sauvignon Blanc. And Ellen's really smart, you guys. She took some tests at the WSETs.
I'm not so smart as I can recite some factoids, and
Total factoids. Factalicious. Your body's too factalicious for you, babe.
Meow. Yeah, you haven't mentioned my my great body covered with.
I haven't objectified you enough on this show, but
Guys,
you are a goth.
I am.
Yes.
Well, I wore black lipstick today specifically so he would remember.
Remember your goth roots.
Yes.
Yeah, your goth origins.
Guys, let's get it. We have one of the new things is we have a brand new segment called the Hip Sip Tip because we're so cool and you want to know what we're drinking in our off hours,
We're
right?
so cool.
So cool.
Hipster hip step tip.
Oh, what were you drinking, Sean?
Oh my God, you guys. Well, this is so cool because someone poured me a Bouzeron, which is a domain in Burgundy, France.
Chalonnaise, I believe.
Chalonnaise, yeah. I'm not sure about that, but
Okay.
anyway, he was like, this is a Chardonnay.
I took the test, Sean. I'm probably wrong.
You and your facts. But he was like, this is a Chardonnay. And I'm like, this tastes a lot like
The alternate truth is...
I'm like, this tastes a lot like an Aligoté. And he's like, nope, it's Chardonnay. And I'm like, you sure? This tastes like Aligoté. And he's like, nope, Chardonnay. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then I'm looking at the bottle on the back. It says it's Aligoté. I blind tasted it, and I stood my ground, and I was right, you guys. And I've never felt cooler in my life. That was my, hip, tip.
I love it. It's so good.
Ellen, what was yours?
It segues well into mine because the same person who tried to blind Sean and
Jared Hooper.
Jared Hooper.
We love you.
We do, especially because mine is not one wine but many. I went to a tasting on Monday that I didn't quite count how many wines they were. Veritas Imports had a tasting for people working in wine, and Jared Hooper very kindly said, "You can go. I'll get your name on the list." I said, "Great." I show up. They give me a packet, which I'm holding it here to show you guys of the lists of wines we could taste. And I was looking around the room. I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to taste 30 wines, and it's 11 a.m. So I'm like, everybody's using the spittoon. I did not swallow.
Let's party.
I did not swallow one sip of wine the whole time.
You're like, I'm in a hotel conference room. Let's do this.
I was at Commerson on La Breise where they hosted it, and I methodically started working my way through the whites and then the pinks and then at the end the sparklings, and then I'm like, I have not drinking any wine, and I feel a little bit tipsy here. And then, so I'm leaving, and I'm like counting. I tasted nearly 100 wines.
Wow, that's like a hip sip chug.
Yeah, it took me like it was a hip sip chug.
That's not
Yeah. I don't know. I'm really curious how much if you don't actually literally spit every single time, and
That's how it
at the end
happens.
you're like, whew, gets through your, I don't know.
Well, should we intro our lovely,
Let's-
amazing face that's across from us?
Speaking of our new network, we have the head honcho,
The head honcho's here, guys.
the big cheese,
The big cheese,
the boss man.
the boss man, Pizza the Hut.
Feels not nice just to call somebody Pizza the Hut.
Well, we figure we got off on a good start with you, and we're going to get you boozed up, so we can say whatever we want.
Just want to see how far you can push me.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, yeah.
We're
That's
already...
cool.
This is Stephen Perlstein, guys.
Stephen
Hey.
Perlstein!
First off, I just like to say that I don't think of myself as like the boss or the head honcho, but I do like to think of myself as the benevolent podcasting
Oh, that's
dictator.
right.
Okay, yeah,
You
uh-huh.
do sign off your
I
emails
do.
that way.
That's do.
And if you do it
And so
wrong,
far
I'm
he
very
is.
mad. If you do it wrong, I'm very mad. We'll see how this goes. I'm
Okay.
going to give notes throughout the
Okay.
session.
Yes, you
He's
should.
actually holding his thumb up,
Yeah.
and it could dip at any moment.
and it-
We
yeah.
don't know.
It's like one of those like live polling graphs. You just see
Yeah.
how good you're doing.
And Sean and I are just like holding hands, like, let's get through this together.
Yeah, you guys are doing it. You're doing great.
We're doing great. Hold on.
And I'm
Fantastic.
excited to have the show on. You guys, I think it was Ellen sent me this podcast. It was like, oh, if you are interested in maybe bringing this to the network, and I was like, I mean, sure, I'll listen to it. I listen to a lot of podcasts, and I was like, this is funny and interesting, and I feel like this needs a voice. So I'm excited that it's out there, and I hope I can really help do some good for you guys. And if not, like, then you'll be mad at me and be calling me Pizza the Hut again.
No. Well, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you to say.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Stephen and I go back to like the roots of my very first improv team. Like we did do this weekly show, and your two-man, your Brendan and Stephen was
Yeah.
always. That's my first memory of meeting you. It was
Oh,
like
yeah.
3 or 4 years ago.
Way back when, with Brandon Herman doing 2-person improv and being real silly and crazy, and now we're here
Drinking wine.
Drinking
Drinking
wine.
wine and being sophisticated.
Yeah, we grew up together, really.
Is improv the key to success?
It could
Obviously.
be.
Look at us right now.
I know.
Look at us
Improv.
right now. We're in a room that's a little hot.
It's a little warm.
There's 400 bottles of water in front of us. Yeah, this is the height of luxury. Everybody go do improv.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, how to win at life. Improv.
Sign up for one-on-one and then just do it for
One day
years.
you could be
Yeah.
drinking wine with Stephen and I and Sean.
Yeah.
You just yes and your way right to the grave.
Oh, yes.
yes,
That's what
yes.
I've done. That's
So
exactly
tasty,
right.
so
A
good.
couple of zip zap zops along the way.
Oh shit.
Uh-huh.
If we end up doing improv warm-ups,
Oh, God.
this will dip way into the negative, and this might be our last episode on the network. There's no way of knowing. There's no way of knowing.
Cedar, sycamore. I'm sorry. Pointies. Okay. Let's
Hotspot.
Let's get into what you want to whine about.
Okay, yeah.
Because we need to. Otherwise,
Yeah,
we're
'cause
going to
it's
go
time
off
to have a
the
beverage.
rails.
Yes. And you guys, I'll just say this. There's my first note to you. Feel free to keep me on track because I just talk about whatever the fuck. I
about
yes
whatever the
and
fuck.
into nothing all the time. But today, you guys said, like, what do you want to whine about? And I just want to preface this by saying
That
I
you have
hate-
a really good Chelsea Handler story, but we'll get into it later.
Whoa, spoiler, I love it. I hate whining about things, especially on the public record, because I'm very much like, just fucking figure it out and like stop bitching all the time.
Right.
So when you guys were like, find something you want to whine about, I really had to think about it. Like I sent a few emails back and forth, and I ultimately landed on the thing that I've been spending a lot of time thinking about and something that's really frustrating, and that's planning a wedding. I'm getting married in February of 2018 to my lovely wife, or future wife, Elise Michelle.
Yay, congratulations.
And thank you. You just popped some bubbly to congratulate me. So
I
this is
did.
great.
Did you hear
Another
that?
very funny improv person.
She's
so.
great. She's funnier. She's by far funnier than me, and more interesting too. And she drinks a lot of wine. So
gotta
I'm
have her
dipping
on the
You
into her
guys
world.
posted a picture on Instagram today of your faces reflected in a wine glass, and I was like, I love it.
Isn't that fun?
That's That's so great.
We went to the Monterey County Fair when we were up in Pacific Grove, and they had like this weird photo booth with all these terrible, terrible photos. And I was like, I snapped, like my head like snapped to it, and I was like, we need to take that photo. And she's like, I don't really want to take a photo. I'm like, no, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You're like, but babe, I'm going on a wine podcast tonight.
Yeah,
we
you
have
don't-
to.
You don't understand how important this is to me.
It's
Yeah.
so important.
Yeah, so I don't know. I just want to gripe a little bit about wedding planning because, man, people say it's so cliche, but man, it is a nightmare to plan these things.
Well, there's a gripe. I mean, yeah, it's a huge gripe. There's so many people, you know.
And honestly, we could have picked any booze whatsoever to
Yes.
serve you because clearly you just need to get a little trashed and take your woes away.
Cheers.
But you can cheers as soon as we all have a
Oh
wine.
no, I was just saying.
Oh,
I got
Ellen.
in the zone. Oh my god.
You're
Okay, I'll
like,
take it back.
No, I love it.
I'm like a
I
very
lo-
like preschool teacher. She's
love
like,
it,
you get what you
Steven.
get, and you do not get upset.
Yeah, you guys can be.
I know you're an
bene-
adult with your own podcast company and you're getting married, blah, 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 but you got to wait your turn if you want to cheers.
You guys can be benevolent wine dictators. I'm fine
Oh.
with that.
Sweet. Dude, I love that title. When we pass
Benevolent
our
wine
Somm
dictator?
tests, we're going to be like, we're benevolent wine dictators.
Wine dictator. I love it.
Well, obviously, and Sean, you thought of this. It's what do you drink at a wedding?
Champagne.
We got you true champagne.
We.
So
from the
we
champagne.
so we
Oui.
splurged. Actually, we didn't splurge. Who splurged?
Greg Conda splurged.
Oh, what a lovely sponsor segue. That's so
Yes.
great. Thanks, Greg Condes, for this
Thank you,
lovely
Greg
champagne.
This is a grower champagne. We'll explain all that later. But yeah, let's
Cheers to
and
that.
taste
Cheers.
this.
Oh, we did it.
Big reach.
That is good.
Also, this is good too because I'm not a big. I think I told you guys too. I'm not a big red wine guy, but I do like everything that's sweet and white and bubbly. And this works.
All right.
I'm already having a good night.
This is where
Yes. This is
That's the point.
Pascal Londemont is the maker of this. It's a grower champagne, which in champagne is very it's also complicated.
You're gonna
France-
You're gonna jump right into grower champagne, huh?
I'll start at the beginning. Well, what should we start with?
Wine comes from grapes.
Champagne is fucking complicated.
There was a big bang. It got very dark.
See, you think your wedding planning gripes are annoying. We start educating you. Like, I start droning on about how champagne's made, and you're just like, God damn it, then you're like, this makes the wedding planning much better. 'Cause
Yeah.
I can go into some long spiels about champagne.
Well, speaking of being complicated, champagne is very complicated in terms of classifications and how it's made. It's very labor intensive. That's why it's so expensive.
It
usually.
started as an accident. It was
Started
an
as an
accidental baby
accident.
in France.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Like penicillin, they accidentally discovered champagne.
Well, so
It's a true thing, guys. Come on.
It's true. No, I know. I just know why I thought that was a funny analogy.
I like it. And it cures so many more things.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm allergic to penicillin. If I have penicillin, my throat will close and I will die.
Oh no.
Oh, shit.
So I hope. So good thing is champagne's nothing
And
like.
bacteria
like
will never
penicillin.
become immune to it. You can always use it to cure everything.
So what do you take instead of penicillin?
They have. Oh
I'm
my
so
god.
curious.
Well, there's a
Yeah.
bunch of Cillins, and my doctors always just tell me just don't take any of them. They'll probably
Oh.
kill you.
Oh, shit.
Thanks, Doc.
But I don't know. It's too complicated. But luckily, I don't get too many
Yeah.
bacterial.
But there's
things.
something else out there than
Please
penicillin.
don't wound yourself.
Yeah. Oh, never.
Don't wound. Never.
We are. It's very padded in here.
It's very padded
so
in here, and
you're
he's
safe.
Yeah.
completely wrapped in bubble
It's-
wrap.
and
you
again,
guys.
there's bottles of water everywhere. Like
Yeah,
it's soft
we'll
and
just
gentle.
douse
Like
you.
nothing's gonna happen. I'm so safe here.
so many bottles of water, you guys. There's so many bottles of water.
And we have a little bit. Yeah, we won't pour the red wine on you since you don't like it, but we have alcohol to cleanse the wound. So.
Yeah,
we go.
it's double good. All right, so should I just start like rattling everything about wedding stuff, or do we
Sure.
talk about this wine more? Because
Well,
also
I
I
was
just want to
going
say
to tell you
it
how
is
it's
good.
made, how
Please.
it was an accident.
Go for it. Yeah.
Here's
oh,
what
yeah.
I know about champagne
Yeah.
is that if it's not grown in the Champagne region,
You are
it's
correct.
actually called fake ass champagne. Officially in
Yeah.
France, that's what they call it.
Yeah, they call it like
They
some
call it
fake ass champagne.
Yeah.
I mean, it's beautiful in its native French, but
In native French, that translates to crémant. But
Oh snap! That was a burn.
no,
Suck
it was
it,
just
Crémant.
factual.
Burn. What a read! What a read on Lemieux or Cremant.
that's it. All the wine
they have-
insiders right now are like, "That's a sick burn," and I'm just sitting here going, "Like, contextually, I understand."
It's true. Like in France, they have to call it crémant, and if they make if it's called crémant, it's made the same way champagne is. There's so many different ways to make bubbly wine. But I was going to tell the story about how it was an accident. So champagnes are really fucking cold, and what happens with wine fermenting normally is they put the yeast in, or they let natural yeast come. The yeast eats the sugars in the grape grape juice, and it keeps eating it until it's done eating it, and then you have the wine.
Right.
There's no sugar left in it.
Well, boom.
And the yeast dies when the alcohol reaches a certain level or when they choose to filter it out. So
Right.
anyway, in Champagne, it gets cold too early. The yeasties die off, or they go
dormant.
to hibernation too early.
Oh.
They were just trying to make still wine. They just wanted some normal wine in Champagne.
Okay.
And they're making it. They don't realize that this was before Louis Pasteur explained yeast,
Yeah.
everything. And then spring would come along. And the yeasties would wake up, so they'd open their bottles of wine in spring and be like, "Why the fuck is my wine bubbly?" It's because the yeast woke up again and continued fermenting
in
and
the
causing.
bottle.
So in fermentation, alcohol plus sugar equals carbon dioxide plus alcohol plus heat. And yeah,
Math.
Math.
That doesn't add up, Ellen.
if you count the molecules, I'm sure it does.
You have to believe that's true. So basically,
It's
so
true.
what comes first? So it's got to be the alcohol comes first, right, from the yeast, and then like it stops, it goes to sleep,
Well,
hibernation, like
yeah.
a polar bear,
Right.
Like
See,
a polar bear, yeah.
and then goes out to feeding again, and
Right.
then just shits
Yeah.
out bubbles.
Exactly.
Pretty
basically.
much. Pretty
So
much.
basically, they just wanted to make still wine and champagne.
Yeah.
But it got so cold there, so they would make the still wine and they'd be like, great job. Let's cork it and put it in the cellar and,
Got it.
and
Yeah,
get ready
they're
for
like, "It's
winter."
done.
And then spring would come around and be like, let's wake up, let's go drink some of that wine
Yeah.
we made. It should be ready. And they'd go down there and
and it was
open
under
that
pressure.
wine.
And
We're
And it would
drinking
be-
yeast farts.
We're drinking yeast
I
farts.
totally get
Totally.
it, and this is the yeast farts is what you have at your wedding,
And this
that's
is-
the fanciest thing you
It's
can
the
get.
yeast farts, exactly. And this is where they get like the bready brioche notes of champagne.
Oh,
it's well,
interesting.
yeasty.
Okay, yeah.
that's
That
the
makes
other
sense.
thing with champagne is
Try.
Oh my god, I've already learned so much.
we're here to make everybody smarter. This is the master plan.
And drunker.
And drunker.
Which is
Drunker.
important.
It is. We did say this. This is the what is it? Boozy study hall or the,
Oh yeah,
Like-
oh yeah,
we were
Busy
saying
Study
this
Hall.
is drunk history mashed up with
Wine book for the dummies.
Love
yeah.
that.
Wine book for dummies.
That's so fun. And also, you guys do 2 of these usually a night, right? So, I mean, really, you really should just start going for like 3 or 4 a night. Just see the last one. It should just be a nightmare every time. Like, guys, listen, wine is so good.
It's so
I
tasty.
love it. And it's honestly, I pay too much for it because sometimes you just gotta get
You just
drunk.
gotta- yeah.
And I'm mad.
We had to find a sponsor. We'd just be going through it. And not
see
that
that,
kind
yeah.
of sponsor.
Yeah.
We have to find other
The opposite sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh no.
One day a week, guys. We
That's
do
so
this
funny.
one day a week.
Yeah, we're okay.
Every other day, we're fine. We're
So anyway-
volunteering. We're out running marathons. We're, feeding the poor.
Yeah, that's true. I have to believe that's true.
That's all true, right? Yeah, that's all true.
So then they start exporting my champagne. I'm just going to keep with my teaching
I
to
love
prove
going.
that I'm okay.
I'll be the bad student, and you just keep on being great.
They
Teacher.
started exporting it to England, and they were adding all this sweetener and like additives to like make they're like, it's sparkly, it's still bubbly, we don't know. And they were trying to make it taste better. They added sweeteners. The British loved the sweeteners, but they also started
And the French people hated that, and that's why they called it brut sauvage, right? I think I've learned that at some point.
Brut sauvage
Is
means
the
no
sweet-
dosage.
Oh, okay, I've understood that it's sweet, and they're like kind of making a little bit of like a rib, like, oh, these
No.
people like it sweet because they're fucking stupid.
Brut sauvage or brut nature is like the driest.
And
of the
does dry mean not sweet?
right?
Oh well, then I don't fucking know
Oh,
anything.
no.
Yeah.
The internet told me wrong.
Oh.
I was so interested in that story. I was like, wow, that's kind of that's like a weird, like subtle burn.
Yeah.
Like a language burn. Imagine being able to create a word or like a category of something just to make fun of like a group
Yeah.
of people or something that like, God, I want to do that.
Well,
That's so French. It's so
Cremant.
French.
Yeah, it is
Cremant.
very French.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no! So
All right, so I
continuing
screwed
in
up
this
anything. Keep going, keep going.
So they dosaged
They used
it.
to. This was still like a long time ago before Dom Perignon came along. They
P.
would ship things in wood, and he was one of the people who helped them figure how to ship in glass. And the British started getting excited by the bubbles that were coming up. They're like, "This is cool!" And then filtering got better. And basically, everything about winemaking was getting better, and they were like, "Oh, we have glass." They could drink in glasses now. They could see the bubbles. They're like, "Let's try and purposely this accidental thing that happened. Let's make it purposefully happen." And thus champagne.
That's champagne.
So
I didn't know that.
So they still do that.
So, but they know how to. This time they make the base wine, and the yeast totally ferments, and then they add more sugar and yeast, which is called the liqueur de tirage, and it induces a second fermentation.
And those are our bubbles.
Those are our bubbles.
Those are bubbles.
Got it. This is all going. So this is all going into my toast, which I don't think I give one of those at the wedding, but I'm just going to do it anyway. I'm just going to
Maybe
say
at the
all of
rehearsal
it.
dinner,
Give
though.
a toast
yeah.
now. Give a toast now.
Yeah, do you want to give a toast?
Bing, 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 bing.
Oh no, I feel so much on the spot.
That means you guys are supposed to kiss.
Yeah, well,
Call your wife.
I'd have to like run home and then come back in 15 minutes. And be like, I did kiss her. Okay, now tell me more about one.
And then we start again. We're doing it again.
Bing, bing, bing.
That is like an obnoxious thing.
Are
like,
you
if
writing
think
your
about
own
it.
vows?
It is.
I am, yeah.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
The pressure. I think I would opt to elope probably and
Yeah.
like not deal
Yeah.
with any of that.
It's a smart choice not to like get too involved in doing all those stuff.
Have you
that comes
gotten
with
to
the
do
wedding.
wedding cake tasting though?
No, we're fucking up. That's like the big thing.
Yeah, you gotta get into the
Yeah.
tasting part. Yeah.
we fucked up that right now.
I mean, did
I'll
you just
admit it.
order blindly?
No, we haven't ordered
you blind
anything.
order?
We're a
Oh.
little bit. I mean,
You're behind?
we're a little bit behind on that. Our wedding is about 6.5 months out. So,
Oh, okay. You have time to get a cake.
or 5.5 months. Sorry, we have time. But I mean,
get a
yeah,
pizza.
we got get a fucking pie and just like a pie and a pie.
Get a pizza.
Yeah, we haven't done that
Yeah.
yet. We've been trying to like. There's so many little things to cover. It just starts from such a weird like wide scope level of like, when do you get married?
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. How did
even
you
that.
pick January?
February was when
February,
we
sorry.
picked. So fucking.
What
listen.
day in February?
Here's the first note. Listen better. All right. He's a good
was
guess.
close.
It's a great guess you got. I mean, respect them a little bit by understanding what they're saying. But okay, whatever.
I could have sworn that, like, when you were posting pictures on Instagram of your wedding, that said something about December. So I'm just like super confused.
Yes, I said I want them to RSVP by December 17th.
Oh,
See, I was
okay.
paying attention.
Good job.
I've been
did
stalking
good.
you on Instagram.
Although, still, that doesn't really explain why January is your thought, but it's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
February
So-
is close. It's halfway between February and just.
So
go.
how do you
why?
decide a date? So like the first thing was I proposed in November, which is I guess a bad time to propose.
Oh,
What?
really?
Because
Now you always
Ugh.
have something to be grateful for.
here's the thing is like you're supposed to give everybody like if you're inviting people from out of town, which I have family out of town, so does she. You're supposed to give everyone like 9 months to do that. So at least that. And so my fiance always wanted a September-ish wedding, like a fall wedding, and we were like, well, hold on, we don't quite have enough time to plan it because we're just not going to do anything for like the Thanksgiving, December. We're not going to fucking do anything. Let's
Yeah,
be
yeah.
real.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, let's push it a little bit so we can give everybody time. And then that ended up in like December, November, January, which nobody wants to do anything
My
at
parents
that time.
got married like 3 days after Christmas or something.
That's
so.
crazy. Like
Yeah.
I think that's considered a little faux pas. No offense to your parents.
They had a real small, like,
Are you-
real
Okay,
small
then that's
wedding.
then that's a different thing.
Yeah.
They
Totally.
didn't try and
But if you're
invite
having like a
everybody.
big wedding,
yeah,
everyone's
yeah.
coming.
You
Yeah.
got it, and like everybody wants it to be convenient for them to
Right,
travel and stuff.
yeah. Right,
Like we have friends out of town, family out of town. It's like a fucking nightmare. So we just found the first long weekend of the year. And then that's
okay.
the other side of it. You don't want to wait too long because then people are like, "You're engaged for 19
Yeah,
months.
right.
Like,
You're like,
what's
"Do
wrong?
tell."
Do you not love each other?" And I'm like, "Well, no,
No,
it's just
no.
there's a lot of things to consider."
Just
Are you getting married in LA or are you getting married?
We
at
are,
work?
yeah. We're getting married in LA.
That's
LA River
convenient.
Center and Garden.
Where?
So, LA River Center and Garden, which is just like a little public park sort of thing in LA, right above Elysian Park, right above Dodger Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. It's a nice little area, and we're excited about
That's
it.
great.
So, yeah, the first thing was just like finding the date, which was like a weird nightmare. We picked the first long weekend we could find in February. And we also secretly don't like it because it's too
what's
close
the
to
date?
Valentine's
I was about
Day.
to say, wasn't it the
17th.
18th?
17th.
See, I'm
February
so close.
17th. 2/17/18. And that's too close to Valentine's Day. Like, I'm like, I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to be like, oh, we got married on the day of love. We didn't love each other so much.
But now you guys have to celebrate
And
two
they're oddly
holidays.
like
Now you have to get her
Italian,
two.
or they-
Oh, just sleepy Italian. See,
Yes.
Buenos Aires. Like,
Oh, now they're from Argentina. I just really. I mean, there's,
sleepy.
I just know it's a language of love. That's all I know.
All of my languages are of love. And then it's like you have to pick your venue. Here's a spoiler out there for everybody who ever wants to get married. If you want more than 30 people at your wedding, guess what? It's going to be so fucking expensive to have a place. Like the venues charge $1 million. Like we have one of the
believe it.
cheapest venues, and I like it saddens me to say this in a way because it makes me feel like cheap. But we have one of the cheapest venues in LA for about that size wedding that we're going to do. and it's like $5,000 or something.
Yeah.
It's like a huge amount of money to be in a place. It doesn't come with like food. It doesn't come with drinks. It doesn't come with chairs. It doesn't come with
The person
heaters.
to officiate? Who's
Yeah.
officiating? How are you doing?
Oh my God,
Did
we
you get a
haven't
friend?
asked our officiant yet, which is like
this someone
terrible.
you want to get ordained? Or you have a friend?
Yes, we have to, like, they have to do a whole thing. It's a nightmare. We haven't asked them because this person has a kid. They've been crazy busy, and we're like, well, we want to like ask you in person. We don't want to like just text you. And we've been like trying to like plan stuff. There's so many little stupid nightmares
yeah.
in wedding planning.
Totally.
This is the whole thing.
You're asking Johnny Meeks to officiate you.
Johnny Meeks, I just want to formally say that right now. You've always been
Johnny
a great
Meeks.
inspiration to me. You've been a great coach, great teacher, and I
Coach,
really
going
like
back to
you.
the info.
And if you remember, when you came on my podcast,
listens
I
to
found
our-
out it was your birthday, and I got you a little cake for your birthday.
Holy
Put a
shit.
candle on it.
Wow.
So, like, he agreed to record a podcast on his
That's right.
birthday.
The
What a crazy
improv
person.
obsession.
Nice person.
Yeah.
And he has a kid.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think
You're
of
just
people
guessing.
I know in the community.
Don't guess. We don't want to
Don't guess.
spoil it. We don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
Well, not like to plug Covell, but Covell does weddings now, and we've
What?
had
Is
a
that right?
couple there. Yeah, because we
Serious?
have it's a hotel above, so it's a 5-room hotel.
Oh.
And it's actually super affordable. Like
Interesting.
people, and we've done
How many
like
people
3.
can you fit in?
60.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Can
so,
you
Takes
wait,
both-
do they
just take
do
both
rehearsal
sides.
dinners? Because we're on the hunt for that.
yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
shit.
shit. This
like,
is so good.
We do it in sidebar. And it's
so
crazy.
happy I'm doing
We had like we had like the ceremony upstairs, and there's like an outdoor kind of
Oh.
balcony,
God, I
Yeah.
still haven't
That's
been
open
up
bar,
there.
and
Sean,
you can do
we go
open
up
bar.
there
Yeah,
tonight?
for sure.
Okay.
Let's go.
Speaking of, anyway,
Yeah.
I love
Covell
this.
wants to do like a live episode in sidebar. By the
Oh,
way,
that'd be great.
Yeah, the manager's like, you guys got to record a live episode.
Yeah,
I'm
we
like,
do.
"Sure."
All right, everybody come out. Wine's
on
going to
out.
be expensive as
Was that-
fuck.
wait.
We're gonna do it on your wedding night.
Yeah, that's fine.
So we're gonna have
That's-
our first live
yeah.
show.
Although that is something we're trying to plan for our wedding is an after party, a little bit
Oh,
of like,
shit.
after it's over
Right.
for
Yeah.
people who didn't get invited to, because like
Oh.
that's the other nightmare of
It's
planning
like
it.
the decompression for Burning Man. Like
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah,
But we can talk like off air or whatever too
Yeah.
about
No, let's
like
talk about it on
let's talk
air.
about it on air. Anyway.
like let's just
Brass
ruin
tacks.
this podcast by talking.
let's talk about your wedding. Yeah, well, let's plan your wedding, like your alternate wedding. I know you've done a lot of work, but let me just
throw it all
out and give you my option. You could do it all at Covell with
Yeah.
food, alcohol, all the rooms,
Yeah.
and you could stay there overnight. $7,500.
So have you guys decided what you're gonna serve for people? You haven't gotten cake yet. You probably see my first. I'm like, if I were planning, I'm like 500 million steps removed
Right.
from
So-
planning a wedding.
so yeah, you gotta
But I would be
go-
like, I just want a cake and a dress and good booze.
Yeah, that's essentially I don't care about the dress at all.
Flowers,
or the
fuck.
cake. Frankly, all I care about
You don't care
is
about
the
cake?
booze and the
Oh,
people.
okay.
I care about the things. I just think it's like the things that make a good party.
Yeah.
It's like good people,
Right.
good drinks, good music.
Right.
Whatever. Everything else takes care of itself.
Exactly. It's true.
So like you have to start with date. Then you have to figure out your budget, which is also a nightmare.
What about
'cause you-
registry? Because you're like, ooh, you could just sell all
I'm
the
gonna get
free
into this
stuff
too. I'm
to.
gonna get into this too.
Okay.
Then you gotta figure out how many
Buckle up.
budget. Then you gotta figure out how many people you can invite. Then you have to start figuring out which people you can invite, which is a
Right.
nightmare because especially in this community,
Oh,
I
yeah.
know a fucking million
Yes,
people.
you know, and
I know, and like
you can do what I
friends
did
and-
with my birthday, which is
Ooh.
I didn't send out invites until the night before because I was like, I don't want anyone
just to see who
That's
That's a game of Russian roulette as
My
far
thing
as I'm
is,
concerned.
I wanted to go to a small bar. I didn't want a lot of people at my party,
Yeah,
but
that's good.
I wanted to invite everyone. And I'm not going to hold anything. And also, then my feelings can't get hurt by this person showed me up because I'm like, okay, I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
gonna. So it's also self-protective in a
That's smart.
lame way. I sent out the night before. I had 7, 8 people. It was great.
That's what I did for my last birthday. I actually made it a very expensive bar, so I was hoping to push
Ooh,
people
what'd
away.
you pick?
I think it's called the Spare Room in the Roosevelt Hotel.
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
bowling
I've been
alley
there.
thing.
Yeah.
So everything's there
Went to a
way too
gin
expensive.
thing
It's
there.
hard
It
to
was
park.
nuts.
It's like a nightmare to get to.
Right.
And because in previous years I've had too many people at my birthday
Yeah.
party. I get too drunk because everybody wants to buy me a drink. I
Right.
drink like 40 drinks and I die the next day.
I drank
Yeah.
30 gin drinks at the Spare Room, I believe. So
yeah,
you
that
know.
sounds right. Yeah, I've done that before.
They were free, so.
When it's the year where I have 3 whiskeys, like I'm holding 3 whiskeys
God,
and I'm like
yeah.
trying to give them away, and my friends are like, "No, they're yours. We bought them for you." I'm like, This is
No.
a bad night. Like, it's 9 o'clock.
Even
like,
with like just 8 people at Tabula Rasa, like
Yeah.
people kept being like, "I'll buy the next bottle of wine," and I think we went through like probably 4. No, seriously, we went through like 4 or 5 bottles of
Good for
wine.
you.
It was a good
Wow.
night.
That's good. That's
It
a
was
good night. That's a good night.
It was a good night.
Yeah. But yeah, then you have to like start ranking your friends, which is a weird thing to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. So then once you have your people, or how many people, then you have to pick your food. Food's crazy expensive.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm paying like just the food is like $50 a head for every single guest.
Yeah.
That's not including like the venue, the clothes, the
Yeah.
decorate. It's nothing. It's so
And
much
then they
money.
nickel and dime you. They're like, "Do you want glasses?" You're like, "Of course I want glasses."
Of course I fucking want glasses.
They're
Why
like,
are you
"What's
gonna
$3 a glass
Yeah,
to
it's
rent that?"
$3 a glass. They pull all kinds of shit. They
Yeah.
want they have chairs. They should give you like old people retirement home chairs. Those are free. Or if you want like decent chairs that don't look like they've been recently defecated on by somebody who can't control their bowels, it's
Oh,
like, well, those
Jesus.
are $3 a person. And then you're like, every little one, it just
Yeah.
adds up.
Yeah.
Every little fucking thing. Do you want silverware? Yes. We're not savages. We're not eating with our hands. I'm not going to make grandma stick her fucking fingers in this pasta and twirl it around like her hand's a fork. I'm not doing that to her.
Doing that.
Gonna get sushi. Everybody, there's trees outside.
Yeah.
Grab some Twix. You have.
See, and then if you ask for sushi, they say, "Do you want a naked woman to lay the sushi on?" I'm like, "Of
shit.
course I do."
Yeah, of course.
How else do you fucking serve sushi, right, guys? Everybody
This is
does
Los
that.
Angeles.
So obviously you're not going to buy actual. I mean, buying true champagne would be super expensive.
I think. We'll probably do
here's-
fake champagne then.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's true
Maybe
champagne.
you shouldn't
like,
do
really?
it at all. Well, here's the thing: is ask any wine person who does a lot of wine pairing. Everybody will bitch that champagne and cake is the worst pairing on earth because champagne is super dry, and
Yeah.
I'm like, if anything, do a really nice Moscato d'Asti or something. But I'm like, it does not pair well with cake. Champagne.
Champagne does not pair well with cake.
Ooh, I didn't know
Everyone.
that. Ooh, shit.
Because generally you're supposed to pair wines that are a little sweeter than good. Sean just
Sean's
he's like,
trying to
"Come
get
on,
us
Ellen."
drunk.
You guys, let's party. It's Thursday.
Let's do it. Just
Thursday
never
night.
stop doing this podcast,
Listen,
guys.
you guys, Zig just never
Zig.
stop recording.
Zig, I know you've got a life and to go home, but what if you just didn't?
Zig, do you want some
Zig.
champagne? By the way, do
Zig,
you want
want
us
some
to? We
champagne?
have glasses.
Zig wants champagne, guys.
Shit.
Yeah, there it is. That's
Yeah,
a good
of
call.
course
Here,
it does.
I can grab the
Steven's
glasses
got it,
there. I
yeah.
got it.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Oh, wow. That was
yeah,
very.
we got-
Yeah, I'm like Spider-Man.
Yeah, you're like, I got glasses.
I brought it right over.
You're just like a Spider-Man for glassware.
I
Yeah.
apologize. We haven't offered it to you, Zig.
I
You're
know.
just
No, you know,
so politely ignoring our buffoonery over here.
he's like, you guys aren't that funny. You have a little wine in you, and you think you're fucking interesting people.
Exactly.
Meanwhile,
That's how
I'm doing
that
real
works.
shit up on the wine. Yeah, so there's just the thing about wedding. I'll keep on griping a little bit about it. The thing about wedding planning that's so interesting. It's so high pressure for people who are getting married, and especially. I don't think this is sexist, but they prey on the women, man.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
They are like, my poor fiance, we talked to a photography company. This is a company that, employs hundreds of photographers and, whatever. And they're like, well, it's $2,000 for a photographer for 8 hours. And you're like, damn, they get paid really good
Yeah.
to take fucking photos. Like,
And then you got to buy the photos after.
yeah. Well, luckily you get digital files at this place, and we ended up not going with them. But whatever. It's like they want you to pay for every little thing, too.
But do you feel like you have a friend that is a good photographer that you can ask and pay
Right.
$500?
I mean,
I've
we,
thought
we
about
know
this.
we know so many
I know.
people that are. I'm a headshot photographer too. Like,
Yeah.
we know. And
Everybody knows. But see, that's the thing is I would feel so weird and terrible for having a friend who is a guest do it, or
Right.
to have a friend
Really?
who was not a guest to work. I'd be like, I'm sorry to invite you. Hey, would you snap some good photos, though?
Shit, my
Yeah.
friend
It's weird.
Dave had an old member of my old improv group got married, and he had the one friend who does chauffeur driving,
Yeah.
driving people.
Whoa.
I don't know if he might have volunteered to
Yeah.
do it. Jay.
Okay, yeah. That's,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It's one of those things that it feels weird to do. I
Yeah.
ended up getting somebody who is much more low cost, independent, and
That's
especially
cool.
they're trying to build up their wedding photography photo
There you go.
portfolio because they know they can make some good fucking money doing
Right,
it.
right.
That's the thing with this towns. You can always find someone who's working to
Right.
build something.
Yeah.
Hustling a little bit, and you can not not feel so terrible about like helping them and them helping you. And yeah,
I have that at Sidebar sometimes at Cobell because like people are like I have my birthday party in Sidebar. I requested you as our bartender,
oh great.
Whoa.
and I'm like, oh, but you didn't think to invite me to your party.
Yeah.
You're like, you want me to work your party for you? And I'm like,
Yeah.
don't really
Did
do.
some former
Secret-
guest of ours do that?
It happens often, and I
Really?
think, and people say it to me as in like
A compliment.
as
like,
a compliment.
so fun
Isn't
for
this
you?
so nice of me to ask for you to be there? And I'm like,
I don't know.
actually, it's
Nah.
not.
I've never worked in like service industry
Yeah.
stuff before, but I've always thought like that it's got to be a little bit weird to like wait on a friend or like I'm like I just don't really want to do that exactly. I don't know. It's something that in my head like I just immediately don't know what the social graces are of that,
Right.
and I can't
Right.
handle it, which is why I don't want to hire photographer friends to do that. I'm like, I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
Well, like on one hand, it's really nice to sort of like give your friends like good service.
Yeah,
that's
Because
true.
they're like, oh, because I care about you and I know you really well and I want to make sure you're having a good time.
Yeah,
So there's that.
there's a good upside.
Yeah, it's a great.
Sounds
upside.
like you're a positive guy.
Yeah, you try to do the
I'm
positive.
not
Yeah,
a positive.
but then there's other times where be like, I want to be fucking hanging out.
Yeah,
I don't want to be working right now.
I'm not here for fun.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, we love going there because it's like we get to hang out with you. I'm like, yeah, but it's not really
No,
hanging out
you
with me.
don't.
Yeah. Also,
It's like
next time
because I have a veneer on at work because you have to because you're in the service industry. So
gotta
you
pretend that you like
have
people.
to pretend you like people.
Yeah.
You do. It's,
Yeah.
you have to pretend like you're interested and engaged with everyone's.
Sean still
Equally.
hates me, but I just like tipped really well until he's like, "I'll do a podcast
Yeah.
with you." Fine, just stop coming.
And a couple times, and a couple times, the mask has dropped off, and it's been like,
Yeah.
people
but-
are like, "Holy shit!" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "I'm sorry." Let me just,
oh God, this is crazy.
let me just adjust my narrative real quick. Okay, awesome. I love my life. You're a great person. We're all good.
We're all heroes.
We're all heroes. No, but the service industry is it is that, but it's exhausting. It does take a tremendous amount of focus and outward energy.
I think the upside of ever being on the other side of like knowing people who you're helping out is that you can always like, give them a good service or do good at it because, like I was saying, everybody else is so predatory and mean. It's like insane. They told my poor fiance, who was very susceptible to this type of thing. Again, this company that hires and employs hundreds of photographers was like, the prices are going up in 2 days. Which is like, I'm like, and it was like through a Skype session that we were doing that. They're giving us a consultation, which is really just like, do you want photos for your wedding? And we're like, yeah, of course we do. Like, do you want them to be good? I'm like, yeah, you fuck. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to talk about. You know
you
what a
want
good
them to be
photo is.
good?
It's so stupid. They're like, what kind of style do you want? And I'm like, what, wedding photos. Like,
Yeah.
and I know a good bit about photography. I can talk about it with them, but it's like, you guys aren't going to do that. You're going to get some random fucking guy to take photos. You're going to pay him like $300. You're going to take $17, whatever. And so they told him, oh, price goes up in 2 days. And my poor fiance was like, oh shit, like we got a book. Like, I guess, how much do we need to put down? And like, she's all worried about it. And I was like, no. The prices aren't going up 2 days in the middle of the week. There's no reason for that to happen. I was like, why is that happening? Just because, like, fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you.
And so then the prices went up, but one of the reps from the company told, again, my beautiful, lovely fiance, who's a little bit susceptible to the stress, with that they'd give her a discount still because they liked her. Bullshit. That they were photographers were
Yeah,
booking
no
up.
one likes her. Sorry.
No, but listen, this is the most insane premise I've ever heard, bro. I'm sitting
No,
there,
that's
she's saying she likes her, bro. I'm like, no way.
Yeah.
They're just
Oh.
they told her that the prices were going up they'll give her a discount for now, and that they're booking up all their photographers. And this was like 9 months ahead of our wedding. I was like, you're running out of photographers? Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck these
Yeah.
people. What
Fuck
is this
you.
company? What a
And it-
bullshit
Dude,
company.
I'd be
I
like,
mean,
here's the thing: is I have enough like Instagrammer friends. I'd be like, give everyone a hashtag. Be like, please just do that, and then I'd pull off there.
Yeah.
That,
Did
that
you
would
say-
be my solution.
did you say
They're-
hash dog?
Yeah. Do you,
You
not
say
like
hash
hot dogs?
dog?
Yeah,
That's the hash
dogs.
brown wrapped hot dog.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Oh my god, that sounds delicious.
Right?
Photos
we
on top.
literally just
I
accidentally
want a
invented a
hash-
great thing.
Yeah, you guys,
Actually-
LA hash dogs.
Shit, check out our food truck. Zig, shut it down. Shut down the recording. We're going to start hashtags.
I'm done podcasting. I want hash dogs.
We know where the
Hash
money
dogs.
is.
Actually,
Oh,
yeah.
But
and
it's-
hash dogs.
I could see
it's
plugging
just-
a vegan dog into that. That'd
It's
be
not
good.
fair how they
No, it's
they're
stupid.
really like they're predatory about it, and they prey on this idea that this is your one day.
One day.
Right.
And
yeah.
if it doesn't work right, you won't have photos. You won't remember. Your guests won't be happy because of the food. You're like, if the DJ doesn't, if you don't
It's
get
supposed
the right
to be your
DJ,
day. Fuck everything. I'm
Fucking
like,
suck
fuck the
my
music.
ass.
Fuck
Yeah.
the flowers.
Fucking, I'm gonna shit in your mouth for my wedding.
Lovely wedding. He actually shat in my mouth. But that was
ceremony
fun.
was beautiful.
Ceremony
He was so
beautiful.
mad.
He was so mad. He shat in my mouth.
This is a thing I expected of Stephen Perlstein, but not really in a way. Yeah, that's it. And then I'll just say it. Here's the last little bit I'll gripe about is that there's also people, it is your day, and everybody says that, like my fiance's parents, her mother specifically, who I really do like, and I think has the best of intentions, is like, Elise, do the wedding your way, like have it your way. My impression of her mother is Bill Clinton.
I was gonna say,
Where's Elise from?
She's from Virginia, and her mother really doesn't sound like that, but she does have a little bit more of a twang than Elise will admit. So I just like really lean into the accent. But she's like, Elise, I want you to have this wedding your way. Do what you want. Don't worry about what anybody else wants. And then she's like. And then her mother, like in the same breath, will go, "Please don't make your father dance. He doesn't want to do it." And then
are they gonna have a father-daughter dance?
I think he's fine with it, but like it's just some weird thing that her mother has. Or it was like, Elise, make sure you play the oldies. You gotta play some oldies you gotta play the good stuff. I was like, okay, like whatever you want, Mill. We'll play some stuff. Also, it'll be fine. Also, don't worry about it. And then like it's just like everything. Elise. Do I have to do anything? Like, you don't have to do anything.
Fine. Just
Please
show up.
chill and just like it'll be so easy for you. There's just
Until
like a lot of
if
weird
you have
pressure.
kids, then she needs to help a lot.
Yeah, right. I want that's the if and when we have
Gotta
kids,
butter up
I'm
your
like,
mother-in-law.
yeah, I need them there. Because I'm gonna still be podcasting, drinking wine and shit. I'm like, sorry, Daddy's got to go to not work.
You guys, we're gonna have Elise on the podcast. So
Yeah.
like, we should.
She'll bring
She
two
likes
bottles.
Yeah, bring
Okay, we're warned. We have been warned.
You've been warned. Every time we come home, she buys wine at the. I'm making her sound like such an alcoholic, and I'm fine with it. We buy wine at the grocery store, and I'm like, man, I feel like she just bought a bottle of wine. There's never wine in her house. It's always drank.
It's always drank. Yeah.
But she did once accidentally buy a bottle of alcohol-free wine, and that's just been stuck in our home. She just did it on accident, like a fucking goober.
You should
and she's just
give a
it's been
test
stuck
to
in our
taste test on the podcast.
Do you guys
Oh,
want?
yeah, we should,
shit.
actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
a good
should.
idea.
Yeah, because we have a
we're
lot
gonna
of.
have a guest someday who doesn't drink, and we're gonna either have to do like,
one
why
option.
are we friends with these people? No fun. No, either like try experiment with non-alcoholic wine or do spritzers with bitters in them or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah. Because I have a couple people that don't drink that
Yeah,
want to
same
come be the show.
seas.
They're like, "Oh, I can never be on your show." I'm like, "No, we'll do." No.
No, I think it would be
Why
good.
is your voice so high, Sean?
We want to be equal opportunity to all whiners.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Oh man, I don't know. So that's I have a bunch of
I
stupid
am
gripes about the wedding stuff. I could
I
tell you
don't-
on for days.
I mean, it could go on and
There's no
on, and
reason.
like it's like a conundrum.
Yeah.
it's a wine ball.
I'm still very concerned about the cake.
Yeah.
And pairing the champagne
Yeah.
with it.
Ellen's worried about the cake, guys.
I know that
That's
we're not going
really
to have
all.
a chocolate cake because, again, my lovely, beautiful fiance hates chocolate. So
Hate
I know it won't be chocolate.
Yeah.
That's about all I
Carrot,
know.
pumpkin.
She loves carrot,
Red
pumpkin,
velvet.
earthy, red velvet. Yeah, she loves. That's her
get
like
a red
palette.
velvet cake.
She
Yeah,
loves-
that'll be the
loves it.
sexiest cake.
It's so
You can
sexy,
also-
so erotic, and it's so close to Valentine's Day. Love is so cute.
Oh,
Fucking
oh
love
shit.
that.
Get a red velvet.
No, I love that.
Get a red velvet.
Sometimes people just fall in love, and it's great.
It's okay. Cupid pulls that arrow back and
my
he lets
God.
it fly,
That
and
little-
that arrow pulls. And
That
it
little
flies.
baby will find you a sexy man. Like,
Oh, that
you let
chubby
him-
little baby. That chubby little
That baby, that
love
naked little baby.
Naked little love baby.
Cupid.
Oh my God, Cupid, you disgusting.
Oh, Cupid, you're disgusting. Cupid, you disgust me.
I mean, there's that whole monologue in Midsummer Night's Dream where she's like goes on about how Cupid's blind and so is love.
If
and-
this could be more pretentious, we're drinking wine, talking about wine,
now I'm
talking about
quoting fucking
weddings, and now
Shakespeare.
we're doing Shakespeare. How up our own ass are we?
Yeah. Champagne at that. Not even just wine. We're
Yeah,
drinking
champagne.
expensive wine.
All right, you want me
it
to?
has delicious autolytic notes.
We're drinking expensive wine champagne.
All right, I can jump up my ass a little bit more with my Chelsea Handler story.
Oh, yeah.
Might as well bring in the showbiz. Do we have time?
You have
We
2 minutes. Go.
Yeah,
Is that
we have
right?
2 minutes and then we're doing the lightning round. So everything's from here out. Everything's fast.
No,
Go.
the show isn't. No, that story is not fast enough. The story is not fast enough for
No,
2 minutes.
okay, well,
it's not. It's
go
okay.
for it.
No.
Now people wanna hear it, though.
I'll just say,
Yeah.
okay. I
Now
produced.
people are like, now I gotta
so
hear it.
tomorrow, Chelsea Handler's airing a segment all about Twitter bots, and her show got in contact with me. Just weirdly, randomly, like, can you program a Twitter bot? This
Via
kind of
Twitter?
came out, yeah. And I was like, I know how to do that. It'd be sort of fun. And so I diverted way too much time to do this thing. Then they invited me to like come to the show and meet the crew and the writers that I've been working with via email this whole time. I was like, yeah, I'd love that.
Sure.
And so I go, and then they made me a studio audience member. They gave me a VIP seat, which included no seating in the waiting area, no food, no snacks,
should do
no
this with
drinks,
your wedding guests.
no alcohol, no water. In fact, they made us wait outside at one point. I was like, hey, I'm really hot. Like, is there water anywhere? And they're like, sure, I can get you water. They take me to a vending machine where I could pay $3 for water. I was like, I worked on this fucking show. Like, I'm not interested.
Steven, this is the solution to your wedding woes. You have the guests
Wait,
you
did they
invite
just
and then their
not
studio
know?
audience.
Did they just not know who?
They did know. They did know.
Those fuckers.
That's how they treat. And I was like, and I want to
And
just
they pay
admit,
people on her show to be studio audience too.
Dude, is that right?
So not only did they not pay, but did they pay you to do the research?
Those
they
fuckers.
paid me to do what I did.
Okay,
for sure.
Chelsea Handler, I do want you on the show because you're an alcoholic and we would love to have you
Yeah, why
on
not?
drinking with us. But
She's
fuck you.
drinking vodka though.
Fuck you.
It was just such a weird nightmare experience that I was like, how is this what you think anybody wants? Like, nobody wants to be a studio audience member
No.
for any. Like, imagine being like, hey, you could come on the show and meet us, and then like
No.
we just make people sit there in the
Yeah.
fucking corner and be quiet and
During
don't
a
give them
taping?
drinks.
Yeah,
Such a
like-
nightmare. Such a nightmare.
Ugh.
And like I felt bad. I felt again. I'm saying I hate whining. This is such a stupid.
No,
up your own
this
ass
deserves
complaint.
a whine.
But I was like, this is fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, and then the only reason I didn't leave was because I didn't want to be. I thought about actually tried to escape, but I didn't want to be disrespectful to the producers because
Oh,
I
I
was like,
say
I wasn't trying to be
disrespect
mean.
that.
I should have.
Unless they paid you real well for
They paid me fine. But I was like, I was thinking, like, I tried to escape by going to the bathroom. Like, hey, I gotta go to the bathroom. Where is it? And they're like, oh, we'll walk you there. And I was like, great. And then I was like, oh, so I'll just meet you
Once
back in the
you're
line.
in, you're in.
And they waited. They stood outside the bathroom like the fucking Gestapo, and were like, you go to the studio audience. I was like,
Wow.
fuck this. It was the
Did you
worst.
meet the people you worked with?
No. No.
Then what's the fucking point?
What's the point? I've been to a number of shows. I've worked in this business. I've written for television. If you're gonna do something like that, give people a nice experience.
Or
Meet
just
the talent.
come out
show
and
them
shake
around.
my
Like,
fucking
be nice.
hand.
One of the producers came and talked to me, and she was very nice. And Ashley, I do like her. She was very nice about it. But I was like, this isn't what people want. Like nobody wants this. I'm in this business, and I don't care to be in a fucking studio audience.
Yeah, you're like, I got shit to do.
I got a whole life. I've got I've got a podcasting
I'm a
empire to look
podcasting
at.
empire
I'm
to
not
look
a
at.
tourist in
Yeah.
LA.
I'm not a tourist, and I did sit next
'Cause
to
the
some
tourists
like
do-
Midwest tourists who were like,
yeah.
"Why are you here?" I'm like, "I produce. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm here.
I only
because I have
produce
no
their
fucking
bullshit."
spine. That's why I'm here. Because I'm a fucking piece of shit and I hate myself. That's why I'm here. All right, so that's my quick wine. Let's do lightning.
Lightning.
Lightning. Let's
Fuck yeah,
let's do
lightning.
lightning.
Let's do lightning.
That's a new
What
drug.
does RM stand for?
Ooh,
I'm just jumping in.
she jumped right in.
You guys, I didn't know the answer to
Okay,
this.
this is an acronym.
Ricardo Montalban.
Yes, absolutely.
Correct.
Is that right?
No.
Oh God. I was like, wow, that's a weird guess.
For champagne.
No idea. Ricardo Montalban.
Récoltant manipulant.
Oh.
That means it's a grower
Explain
champagne.
Oh, yeah,
Damn, I
we-
should have
we-
guessed with that. All
Grower
that talking.
champagne. So the thing with champagne is there's champagne houses, there's champagne cooperatives, and there's grower champagnes. And people tend to buy a lot of wine from all over because the weather's so unpredictable there, and they save it over the years, and they come up with their house blends. And so there's a lot of people buying grapes or wine made by a lot of people that don't work for their company.
Oh.
Grower champagne is the actual person making the wine, owns the land, so it's sort of like
Oh.
farm to table.
So it's like
farm
extra
to table
fancy.
wine.
Extra,
Extra
fancy.
fancy.
They're not like buying like cheap juice on the side.
It's also
Not
supposed
those
to
fucking
be
street grapes.
So
People selling them at intersections and stuff. Like
Yeah.
grapes.
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 I'm making champagne. One bushel.
It's also supposed to be like more representative of a terroir because you have the person with the one parcel of land rather than the person getting grapes from all over until they can concoct a brew that tastes okay.
Because there's also the belief that good winemaking is actually just good farming.
I have to believe that's true.
Mm,
Ride that lightning, guys.
Ride that lightning.
ride the lightning.
That's what I'm going to say every time.
Oh yeah, we didn't mention this is a Premier Cru. Oh.
Oh, this
Premier
is a
Cru
Premier
Village.
Cru, yeah.
Yeah.
Premier Cru Village.
Bonjour.
Merci,
Bonjour.
bonsoir, au revoir, et ça va bien. Okay, what is the punt on a
Ooh,
bottle?
I love
on
this
the
question.
bottle?
It's the butt. It's the thing you stick your thumb up.
Do you know why? Yeah,
Yes.
you were good.
Yeah.
Wait, are you taking points?
Yeah, and well, he didn't get the first one.
Right.
wasn't-
so
I'm sure it wasn't
0
Ricardo.
points.
I'm sure it's not Ricardo
That's
Montalban.
crazy. That's really crazy.
I'm
know.
impressed you knew what the
For-
punch was, though, because
I don't know how I recently learned about that on accident, but yeah, that's you hold it there to like pour it.
That's not why it came around.
Is that not why it
though.
came around? Why did it come around? Tell me, so you could kill people better with it? Is it stronger for
Uh-huh.
to bash
No.
hit skulls in?
It was because glass blowers originally would have to sort of cut off the end, and there would be like a little divot, and then you put the wine down, and the wine. Well, Sean's rolling it around. The wine bottle
yeah,
won't
you
sit
can't-
upright, so they pushed it
It's
up.
hard to make it flat, so they did a little cheat.
But now, but now they especially keep it for champagne because the pressure.
It does help with
because the
pressure.
secondary fermentation happens in the bottle. The carbon dioxide causes pressure to be real high, and apparently having that in there makes the pressure more even.
You know what? I'll spoil it for the listeners out there. We popped champagne. That cork didn't go anywhere. It wasn't like a fun
That's the
cork.
That's how you're supposed to do
That's
it.
like the
No,
swab.
I know you're supposed to do it that way, but all of us fucking plebeians out there,
Steven!
we're shooting corks across the street.
I know, that's
We're
exactly-
shaking it up, seeing how far we can shoot the cork. We're like the fucking NASA space program. We're like, how far can we light this rocket? Like,
I mean, it was disappointing to me when I realized that like you're actually not supposed to make any noise if possible. You're supposed to be like.
ooh, you're supposed to
Like a
silence
ninja,
it.
you're supposed to be
Yeah.
a fucking ninja of the wine cork.
A wine
if we
ninja.
go on to do the next level of these tests we're taking, we're gonna have to open wine like a ninja.
Yeah, for sure.
Scared.
Again, how pretentious and white can this get? I want to be a wine ninja.
The douchiest person described it to me like it should sound like a woman sighing. Ugh, go fuck yourself.
Do you guys want to hear how I saw it?
It should sound like. But what is she sighing about? She has no worries.
Love.
I am.
She's sighing because you're taking too long to open the fucking wine. I want to get drunk. Like, pop that shit.
Pop that cork.
I'm sighing about cake.
I was
forever.
gonna never let this cake go.
I'm like fixated on cake now. That I've been
All right. I
thinking
mean,
about.
if you want, I'll invite you to the tasting.
So-
I don't know.
Yeah, I'll come. I'll bring champagne.
You're in.
Oh yes,
You're in.
I know what I'm good for.
So you got the punt. You got that. So 1,000
I'm
points for that.
impressed because this is not something I really had heard or studied until recently. So
Yeah.
I'm impressed.
It's
He
also
gets
called like the
extra
butt or
points.
something stupid like that, right? Doesn't
Really?
it have like a couple stupid names like that? Okay, maybe not. All right, go, keep going, keep going.
Maybe in like a Judd Apatow movie.
Ride that lightning.
We mentioned him already, but who was Dom Perignon?
Où est Dom Perignon?
You know, he was a mob boss in the Champagne region of
Of the
France.
monks, yeah.
He's a Dom Perignon.
Well, who was he?
Dom is an honorific for being a monk, and he is one of the people who was.
Fuck.
Well, he was one of the people who really elevated. Now I'm looking at my notes. Elevated winemaking. He figured out how.
He elevated wine like Dominic Toretto elevated street racing, right?
He was the first
Exactly.
person.
He
Is he
lived his
featured in the Fast and Furious movies?
Dominic Toretto?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course he is. He's
Totally.
the main character. You know, he lived his life as a quarter mile at his time. Maybe, you know, Dom P lived his life 750 milliliters at a time, you know?
Totally. Actually,
Bravo.
he-
Well said.
He
Well
did
said.
because
I
he
should have
was,
said 3/4
he
of a
was
liter
the first.
at a time.
He
I
was
didn't
one
do
of
it.
the first people to experiment with the glass storage, which was instrumental in people being like, "Oh, we can make champagne a cool thing, not an accident."
He's like trying to be like a fucking rock and
He
roll
also
monk.
figured out how to make white wine from red
Experimental.
grapes, which is what champagne is, because this is
Oh.
made from like
Yeah, it's all
Pinot,
the same shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Pinot Noir, Chardonnay, and Pinot Meunier. Pinot Meunier
And none of
being-
that means penis. Is the
None of
important-
that means penis, no.
It doesn't matter what
No.
anybody tells
Penis Meunier.
you. And this is a penis.
That's what we drink at
Meunier. It's breathing
bachelorette
for
parties,
you.
guys.
The penis. That's true. Oh, that's a great part of wedding too. Bachelorette and bachelor stuff, guys. Check it out.
Oh shit!
I'm a big fan.
Yeah.
Are you BIP, Batch in Paradise?
No. Oh no.
No, I think he was talking about the party.
Bachelor parties, like for the weddings.
Oh, you guys, I got so excited about Bachelor in
sorry,
Paradise
Sean,
just
you're-
then.
You did light up like a
I
Christmas
lit up
tree
like
a
on that
Christmas
one.
tree,
That was
you
great.
guys.
Oh man.
Sean, I'm going to start watching this with you so I can find the joy in this because a
Don't-
lot of people do.
Don't do
Please
it, you
do.
guys.
I'll
Please
bring
don't.
champagne.
Yeah, I love
You
it.
just, yeah, okay. But if you're bringing champagne, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
she knows where her value is.
I know I know a woman's place. Is in the
woman's
bubbly.
place is in the bubbly.
You
is in the
guys
valley.
can always know if it's the second episode they recorded of the night because the laughs get louder and everything's a little bit looser. All right, next thing, ride that lightning.
Last fucking question.
Ride the lightning.
What's bringing you joy?
Spit take.
He nearly choked.
You
He's
nearly
like, oh,
choked
fuck.
on the bubble.
What am I at Cafe Gratitude? Like,
Yes, exactly.
I like
It's
to.
because we whined this whole episode. We
Yeah,
can't
just
talk
bring
about
something.
wine now.
Just bring it. Like, what's bringing you some smiles?
Okay, what's been bringing
Cynthia
me
smiles.
smiles?
You know the right answer to this.
Okay. Oh, is it? It's my wife. That's
Yeah.
not it at all.
Fuck.
No, you know what? I'll say what's something that that I think everybody should do. This is like a. But I bought all my flights for my honeymoon just 2 days ago.
Ooh, wait, where are you going?
Paris,
Whoa.
Ireland,
Whoa.
Italy.
Whoa.
It's just one night in Paris, so it doesn't even really count. Which
No,
is
but
also
still.
the name of a porno.
Perfect. Reenactments all around.
That's the plan.
Yeah, that's
So that's like when we're not doing it until a little bit after the wedding. But what I think is exciting about planning it super early is we just get a lot of time to anticipate it and plan it and like have that joy of
Right.
the excitement of
Yeah.
planning that stuff for a long time. And I was thinking about like delaying it. I was like, I'll just wait until it's a bit closer. I know how to get flights a little bit cheaper. You wait, there's a certain window. I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to say it's like, these are where we're going. These are the dates. Like, get excited. And now we've just been like, all the stuff we got to do. So that's
Yeah.
been very exciting, is thinking a lot about the honeymoon. When we're done with what I've been whining about, which is planning the wedding, and we're on to the real shit, which is being married forever,
Yeah.
and starting
Yeah.
to fuck and put out babies and
There you
stuff.
go.
Do it in Paris.
Do it in Paris.
I mean, that seems like a little quick, but like,
On
all right,
camera.
I'll try.
Yeah, I'll try.
Dude, I've had one friend get pregnant on her honeymoon, and the other
Wow.
like get pregnant in the
The bridal suite?
No,
The fantasy
No,
suite,
no.
as we call it on The Bachelor.
though we're going to get engaged because we're going to Paris to pick out rings.
Oh,
trip.
wow. Yeah.
And it's like, oh shit, you don't have
oopsies.
your ring yet.
Gotta really
Oh.
throttle this whole thing.
It's working out well so far. So
That's good.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So I'm voting for Paris.
Well, that's
Vote for
great.
Paris. Yeah, we're gonna
For
spend the night in
Perlstein,
Paris.
babies.
Let me know. I'll send if there's something I should be on the lookout for. We're gonna spending the most time in Italy, but as far as wine goes, I will be talking
Where in
to
Italy?
you.
Yeah, we'll talk. Yeah.
Yeah.
Florence, Venice, Rome, Sorrento.
I mean,
Whoa.
all of it.
We're spending most of our time in
Especially
Italy.
Venice.
Everything else, it goes like longer and longer in each country. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh.
So we'll
Yeah,
I'm
so
going to be
fun.
looking for some references and just like, what wine do I bring back, which is going to cost me $1 million, but I'll do it anyway. Whatever.
Actually, it'll be less there probably to get from the people, like the importer
talking
fees.
about baggage fees, motherfucker.
Oh, shit.
I got another thing to whine
I
about.
forgot about that. All right, so obviously Steven's honeymoon is what's giving him joy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm looking
So
forward
much-
to it.
Looking forward
and
to
she's
that.
the best,
Yeah.
and that is the truth. Is I'll just say it real quick. I'll dedicate it. I'll dedicate my
Dedicate it?
appearance on. No, I can't cross dedicate. But I think my fiance is really great, and I'm excited about doing all the stuff with her. Even though I'm bitching about it, I'm really excited about all of it. It'll be good.
I love it.
I love it. I love it. Well, on that note,
On that
cheers.
note, cheers.
Cheers. Some you have any cheers left? Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks so much for being here. We're so excited to work with you.
We
Steven.
are.
This is a dream.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thanks for listening.
We're so excited to be here at Boardwalk. Thank you, Steven, for having us.
Yeah, thanks. It's so cozy here at Boardwalk Audio.
Yeah.
It's like a nice fall sweater that I'm putting on.
Yeah. Oh, get into the Boardwalk, guys.
Thanks to everyone, UCB, Covell, Wine Peeps.
Dr. America for our music.
Yeah.
Zig.
Zig.
Cody Ziegler for keeping us online, in
Keeping
line.
us online, keeping us sounding good, keeping our levels mixed.
That's right. Like on this iPhone.
Not like this crazy iPhone.
Hey, if you guys could go on iTunes and write us a review, that would be so good. Be like, hey guys, we love that you're with Boardwalk now. You sucked before. Or, something like that. You don't have to say we have sucked before.
Don't put words in their mouth. They can say whatever they want on their review. It's their time.
As long as it's nice.
It's their space.
True.
Thank you, Space. Up next week, we have Kate Herman on the show talking about Alexa.
Ooh.
She's listening, guys.
Yeah, beware.
So tune in next week.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This has been a Boardwalk Audio podcast. For more information and shows, visit boardwalkaudio.com. Don't forget to rate and subscribe now.